Let's talk burnout. Now, burnout is a real thing. If you're experiencing it even in a small way or a big way, it's completely normal. Don't beat yourself up over it, but also think about how to get out of it. Don't stay in burnout for too long. There are ways you can do it, and I'll expand on that in this video. And I'll also use an example of a student of mine who I worked with about 6 months ago, who I've used in specific videos where I've spoken about getting multiple interviews and not attending any of them. So, this is the story of Hamza. Now, Hamza, if you're watching, I really appreciate you allowing me to share this story on my YouTube channel. And if anybody is experiencing anything like Hamza, connect with me. There's going to be links in the description. You can connect and apply to work with me. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. Shoot me a question. I'm happy to answer everybody who connects with me. Now, also, before we get into it, do like and subscribe. It avoids my burnout. So if you can like and subscribe, it costs you nothing and it means the world to me. And I really appreciate you watching. Anyway, so burnout, let's talk about it. Burnout is a real thing. You can over expand on your input, get a very small output, and feel like you're wasting your time, and then burnout ensues. So what do I mean by that? You apply to 100 jobs a day, you do that for a month, you put in 8-hour days, you get very little to show for it, if anything, and then you start to feel completely lost. And then you don't want to do it anymore. And you probably fall back from things that make you happy. You don't go out as much. You're not really too communicative with friends and family. And you start falling into this hole of, okay, well, I mean, why did I go to university if I can't get a job? Why am I not able to pay my bills and go out with my friends? Or why am I not able to get a mortgage or whatever it is? So it's really important to first know that everything in life is connected to the job you do, and the quality of the job you do, and the quality of money you make, and the people around you. So all of these things are connected. Now, burnout, let's get back to that. I'll share the story of Hamza. Hamza reached out to me probably about 6 months into his job search, where he was just applying, nothing was happening. And then he saw one of my videos in regards to explaining outreach, having a strategy, getting people to speak to him. And he was really successful at getting that to work. But what Hamza didn't really account for was the potential burnout success can actually generate. Even if you're successful or unsuccessful, burnout's a real thing. So the story of Hamza is he's applying for 6 months, nothing's happening. And then in 3 weeks, he was able to generate a strategy that got him about 5 or 6 interviews in 1 week. Now, he was spending 8 hours a day reaching out to people. Unbeknownst to me, I gave him a strategy to spend 45 minutes a day, and he completely over delivered on that. He spent 8 hours a day, and he was generating some incredible results. We're talking 3 meetings with decision makers in one company in one day. We're talking applications that are getting shortlisted because he was referred. We're talking people saying, hey, Hamza, you should work in this department. Let me put you forward to this decision maker. And he was just getting meeting after meeting after meeting. And he was putting the time and effort in, which was incredible. But then there came a point where he told me he had 5 interviews lined up with 5 amazing companies, 5 companies he wanted to work in, that for him was just the be all and end all. His life was going to change. He was unemployed for 6 months, and all of a sudden he has 5 interviews. And let's be honest, when you have 5 interviews, you know you're going to get at least one, right? So I said to him, you want to get all 5. Let's get all 5 offers and pick the best one. Let's see what they come up with. Let's get all 5 offers, and then let's negotiate better salaries, better packages, better everything from all 5, and even share which offers we have. That's a video for another day in terms of how to do that and why you should get multiple offers. But anyway, I digress. Let's talk about burnout again. So he got 5 interviews, and these were spread across the next week. So I said to him, look, here's your interview prep. Use our software Interviewly, set up in terms of how to better yourself in terms of how you come across, and let's catch up, whenever you're free. And he said to me, let's do it after the 5 interviews. So I'm going to give you a sit rep, explain what happened, what did I say, how did I feel about it, and what offers come through. So I said, great. A week goes by. I notice he hasn't booked a session. He hasn't called me. So I find out really odd, because you've got this amazing opportunity of 5 interviews. And then I give him a call and I say, Hamza, so, how do they go? Have you got any offers? Who came back to you? What did they say? How did you feel? What happened? Tell me everything. And he said, well, Milo, I didn't actually attend any of them. And I was like, what? but we've worked so hard and you've spent these, days, and you've gone over 45 minutes a day, and you've had all these, I couldn't quite believe it. It didn't make sense to me, because it was just, if you put yourself in my position, 6 months of no interviews, and then in 3 weeks, 5 interviews, and then not showing up, it just didn't make sense. So I said, well, what the hell happened? Why did you not go? It just seems stupid to me not to. It just didn't make sense, right? I was lost for words for the first time in a while, right? And he mentioned something to me that made me think about burnout very differently. He said, look, I just put all this time and effort in. I don't feel like I have anything left in the tank, and my confidence is at an all-time low. I feel like I'm going to crumble. I have no energy. I haven't slept properly. I've got these amazing interviews, but I just can't go and present myself. I can't risk it, is what he used. He used the word risk it, which I thought was really interesting, because he spent so much time and energy in his job search that he did not account for the level of lack of energy he would have once he has to really deliver. So if you think about it, your job search is broken down into so many compartmentalized boxes. You have the strategy you need. So you're going to come to a realization you need a strategy after applying and nothing happening, usually around the 3 month mark. Now, after 3 months, you then think, okay, well, I need to change the strategy, because there are other people that are getting jobs and interviews and I'm not. So what are they doing? And then you start realizing you have to have a better resume, CV. You have to have a better strategy and outreach. You have to sell yourself better. And that takes energy and time. Now, what Hamza did really well is he went all in to get better at that, but he mistook the amount of energy he would have to have for actually doing the interviews. So he developed an insane work ethic, spent 8-hour days reaching out to 20 people a day, making 10 applications per day, value driven commenting on LinkedIn, which is where you comment and connect to people who post in the industry you want to work in, and you provide questions and answers in their post to get more recognition and impressions on your profile. And I'm going to do a video on this, because this is really important to do if you are taking your LinkedIn job search seriously. You want to be able to generate people to look at your profile. But anyway, I digress. So he did everything correct. He generated eyeballs, he generated conversations, he generated interest, he had informational calls. These were all set up. And then it took everything out of him. And the mistake that I made was I didn't ask him how much time he was actually spending per day doing all of this. So he was spending 8 hours a day. I gave him the task to spend 45 minutes. And if you're part of my program, if any of my students are watching, you know that I always tell everybody, spend half an hour, 45 minutes. Be compact in your time, because you want to live your life. You want to go out with your friends. You want to see your family. You want to do your hobbies. You want to do whatever you do, right? Your life should not be just job search. When you get a job, you're going to spend a lot of your time in the job, but your life isn't just your job. Your life is to express yourself, to grow your family, to have fun, to, I don't know, whatever you do. Just, it's not all about the job. The job fuels it. It's important, sure, but there are other facets to your life. I hope everyone watching really recognizes that. Now, back to Hamza. So he said, I didn't show up for any of them. And I was taken aback. I then found out he was spending 8-hour days networking, applying, and it was all out of him. So the realization of burnout doesn't happen when you don't see results. Burnout also happens when you see massive results. But the root cause is, in my opinion, organizing time and energy more effectively. Now, if you really organize your time and energy, you will then recognize the fact of how much energy it takes to do something and get a specific result. So, for example, if you're applying for jobs every week and you're spending 15 hours a week doing it and you're not getting any results, you will feel a version of burnout. You're going to think, well, I'm spending all this time getting nothing. What's the point? I don't have any energy to continue doing this. And the time I'm spending, I would rather be doing something else. So then you have that element of burnout. Equally, if you're doing 8-hour days, so you're spending 40 hours a week, really pushing yourself. And by the way, I'm all for hard work. I feel that I work incredibly hard. I'm filming this video on a Sunday morning. I could be spending time with my family, but I love doing this. So it allows me to really push through. And I think normal people, whatever that is, whatever that means, would probably say, like, don't film YouTube videos or don't work on a Sunday. But I feel that it fuels me. So this advice is not for everybody, but also this work ethic is not for everybody. Some people want to just work 1 hour a day in terms of getting a goal done. And getting a job or an interview shouldn't be 40 hours a week. It should be tops 1 hour a day. and then having enough of a strategy and time when you do get the interview to know that, okay, you've still got energy left in the tank, right? So if you don't have any energy left in the tank and you get 5 interviews, so let's say you want to work for Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Deutsche Bank, Apollo, Morgan Stanley. You put everything into getting the attention of these companies, and you get 5 interviews back to back, and then you can't sleep that night, and you don't wake up properly, and then you miss your morning coffee, and then you go into the interview and you forget everything you're going to say. That is an element of burnout. You haven't managed your time and energy effectively. You need to manage your time and energy. If you don't, you're just going to fall through when it really matters the most. First impressions count massively. When you're getting into an interview, first impressions count for so much that it's easy to kind of not think about the energy you need to be able to do that, because they're going to ask you questions like, so tell me about you. And we all know why they're asking that. They want to see how you think and what you feel about the opportunity. And if you have no energy and you're burnt out, you've wasted all that genuine, valuable research and time and strategy to generate opportunities and not follow through. So anyway, back to Hamza, we reassessed everything. Okay, how much time are we going to spend? If it's more than an hour, I gave him a website, pomofocus.io, which is a Pomodoro timer, which you put in 25 minutes of work, 5 minutes break, 25 minutes work, 5 minutes break. That's 1 hour. So 50 minutes of work, 10 minutes of break. By the way, we're not sponsored by Pomo Focus at all. I just use their website. I think it's great. So POMOFOCOS, Pomo Focus, so US.io. You've got a timer, use it. You actually see how much time you effectively use effectively in any task you do. So you could work for 8 hours a day and you actually get an hour worth of work done. But if you use a Pomo Focus timer or Pomodoro timer, as they're called, you do 1 hour of work and 1 hour of work. And then you realize you've got all this extra energy for stuff you want to do, right? So we reassessed our strategy. Let's spend maximum 1 hour a day, 1 hour on our job search. And then once you get an interview, you're going to have all this energy, all this focus that you probably put in the last couple of weeks anyway, that are there brimming at the top, and you'll be able to go to those interviews. So at the end, we were able to reschedule about 2 or 3 of those interviews. The other 2 companies just didn't want to continue anymore because, again, first impressions count. But we were able to salvage 3 of those interviews, and we were able to generate 2 offers from that, while getting another 3 interviews from a slightly easier way. He felt better about getting the 3 newer interviews in a much more structured approach than he did by blitzing it. So for any of you blitzing your job search, meaning, hey, I'm just going to blitz everything, I'm just going to put all the hours of the day in, I'm just going to continue to work, I'm going to eat noodles, drink my Red Bull, fine, don't do that. I think there's a time in your life when you can do it, like when you're in college or university, cool. But now that you're an adult, take care of your body, take care of your mind. Time and energy are the 2 valuable assets you have that you have complete control over. Anything can happen in life. Markets can go down, AI can be a bubble, everything can collapse, but your time and your energy are the 2 assets that you control. So what better time than now to really assess how you control them? And your job search is just one component. Your job search is going to be tough, but doing the job and progressing in the job and going through the job in this time of geopolitical tension, markets crashing, AI, making most jobs obsolete, and then what's going to happen in the next 5 years, who knows? So now's the time to utilize a strategy, not just for the strategy, but doing the strategy and getting the job and doing the job and progressing in the job. So burnout's a real thing, but I think having a strategy, having a focus of how much energy you spend on something, whether it's positive or negative, how much time you spend on it, mapping it out, getting organized, and that's going to be a big fix for the majority of you. If you want to work with me, there's a link in the description. You can literally apply to join the Health Job Plus program. You and I can work together. If you've got something to do with burnout, not getting enough interviews, or getting enough interviews but not getting offers, or getting the wrong offers, I can help you. I take a holistic approach. I'm pretty direct. I don't like to waste time, but I like to get results. If you're on the same wavelength, let's work together. If you just want to connect with me and follow my content on LinkedIn, please do. And last but not least, like and subscribe. It costs you nothing, means everything, and it gives me more confidence to do these videos. I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you on the next one.